Just reading this stuff just honestly makes you think, what would it be like to be in here? I can't even imagine. It just seems like such a terrible, terrible thing, but this is how our society works. Artifacts always kind of tell me the story of where I am, what used to be here, and I think that's the most important part of this is if we're kind of semi-historians, I want to see who was here, what they did here, and potentially why they left. So we know the backstory of certain places, but other times it's just a complete mystery. So if I'm in the woods in some abandoned house, I like to go through photos and documents and really try and piece together what happened. Who was here, what were they like? So now we're in the kitchen. We have our Steam Chef steaming machines, and it even gives you recommended times for steaming. So 20 to 30 minutes for green beans, 20 to 25 for lima beans. That's cool. I've actually never seen one of these before. As you come down to lower levels in places like this is where you want to be more careful of like kicking up dust and dirt, because you don't know what's in there. There's probably asbestos, to be honest. But almost in every basement, it's typically the worst air quality because there's very little natural ventilation. There's no windows. Here we have some actual ventilation grates, which is good, but realistically it's not doing us any favors for giving us really good quality air. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to shoot, but honestly I look at light first before I look at what to shoot, because I think that the quality of light and how it's coming into any picture is more important than what you're actually shooting, because you can make dramatic shots of anything with the light, but you can find something really interesting to shoot, and if the light sucks, it's not going to be an interesting photo. So I always look for light quality first above artifacts or scenes to shoot, and then try to make the best of it. Another thing that actually makes this place really rare is that there's no graffiti. I haven't seen one piece of graffiti. I haven't seen anything that's been destroyed. This is usually the first thing that happens when anything closes like this, but definitely some mold up there. But I think that this place is hard enough to get into that it keeps scrappers and vandals out of here. So this is where I guess people would meet with their loved ones, just a guess, but looks like this little hook here on this side is where you'd hang up the telephone receiver. You talk through the glass to whoever's visiting you. Just a complete guess, but that's how it looks to be set up. Maybe even a camera up there. Wow, so they bunked 4 people to a cell, it looks like, with 1 toilet, 1 sink. I mean, can you imagine having to go to the bathroom in front of 3 other people? It'd be kind of awkward. I was just actually at a jail on the East Coast, and the place was so destroyed that nobody wanted to go in there. Police didn't want to go in there, but homeless people did, and they were living in there. And so I went in with my buddy, and as soon as we started taking pictures, 2 people walked in and they were living in one of the cells. And before that we were just telling each other how impossible it would be for anybody to live there, but where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, these are all incident reports. So incident reports, shift changes. But God, I mean, just look at the stacks and stacks of books. Like, that is a ridiculous amount of records just to notate when shifts were changed. But I guess back in the day, that's kind of what you had to do. And right now it's, I'm sure, all automated, so I don't have to deal with this anymore. But God, what a waste. Waste of time, waste of resources. So yeah, this was like a community room. They probably had meals here. They probably came here to talk to their loved ones or their lawyers. And as soon as they locked up the jail, they just used it for record holding. Huh. Never seen shower heads like that before. I'm sure they were screwed into the wall like that so that you could never remove them and use them as some kind of weapon. So yeah, this one, locked to inmate's room, was found jammed with a plastic comb. So while doing window checks on the module, unable to easily open the door to room 14, Deputy Gallagher succeeded in opening the door by pushing his full body weight against the door. As the door opened, I saw a plastic comb fall to the ground. So yeah, it looks like they tried to pick the lock with this comb, and then it goes in with the incident report. Inmate comments, the comb was in the door. I was just snoozing. That's a good way to deny it. Punishment imposed, 24-hour loss of
privileges.
Yeah. Mutual combat. Inmate comments, do what you have to do. Damn. I would not want to be locked up with these guys. Yeah, I was in a fight, but he swung on me first. Damn, dude. Ah, there we go. So he looks like he got in a fight. Wow. Jeez. Anybody got a broken nose? That's crazy. I love seeing things like this where you can actually see behind him what this place looked like when it was still in its heyday. It's just a little snippet, but I love looking at historical photos like that. I heard noises which sounded like a fight coming from the TV area. Maybe this is the TV area? I haven't seen any TVs otherwise, but it seems like a logical place for it. I walked to the juice machine, looked up, and saw inmate and inmate walking quickly away from the area of room 19. So I then ran upstairs and found inmate sitting on the floor, his face and hands covered with blood. At first stated that he fell down, but later told Deputy Palmer that two short white guys beat him up. So even in a jail as small as this, they had a ton of violence, drugs, all kinds of fun stuff to look forward to for whoever got stuck in here. So my name is Todd Sipes. I'm a photographer here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I like to shoot a lot of abandoned structures, and I think that my photographic style is gritty. I like to shoot things in a way that is sort of surreal. So if you look at something like this, where it's a jail that hasn't been touched in 20 years, I like to bring in bright colors, and I like to bring out the detail in the shadows so it almost looks kind of otherworldly. But some people, they think that it is a more accurate representation of what it's really like in person, because when you have things like this where it's dark and you just shoot one regular photo, it doesn't accurately represent what the eye sees, because eyes are incredible. We have incredible range of vision, and when you take a camera, cameras just don't have it. So you have to blend images together in order to get that full picture and the full detail in the shot. And I think that's kind of my specialty. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I like it, and that's all that really matters to me. So I first got into urban exploration about 3 or 4 years ago. But I used to explore as a kid all the time. So I grew up in kind of the woods of Virginia, and we had lots of old abandoned structures that we used to go and play in, and really got into the historical side of stuff. So I've always liked history. I've always liked exploring places that I shouldn't necessarily be, but I didn't get into the photography side of things until a few years ago. One of the things that really got me into it was this one TV show that talked about the hidden bunkers in the San Francisco Bay Area, and that just got me hooked. I was fascinated by the thought that there are these underground places in San Francisco that I may be driving by every single day, and there exists this whole other world of hidden things that are just kind of left to rot. And so that was my first mission, was I needed to find this bunker, I needed to get into it. So in a nutshell, I think that urban exploration is really a museum of sorts, where you don't have boundaries, you don't have ropes, you don't have glass cases. You can just go and pick apart and look at things to your heart's content. I think that one of the things that should be said about urban exploration and urban explorers is that there are some people that call themselves urban explorers, and what they do is they come into places like this and they just destroy everything. They rip things apart, they throw things, they break windows, they graffiti, they ruin it. And I think they kind of give urban explorers a bad name. So if anybody is has that connotation that urban explorers are the people that come in and ruin it, that's not the true. We're the people that come in and try and preserve it through photographs and try and preserve it through stories of each individual place. People that come in and vandalize, they're just vandals, assholes.